We're going to start with a really fun part, which is our special guest speakers tonight. I've asked Briana and Andrew Leffler to come tonight and talk to you guys a bit about their experience with Little Mushroom Catering and with using Erica and I for full coordination for their wedding. Briana and Andrew just got married about a month ago on October 13th. So congratulations, they're here at the front. Quick recap, just a little bit about our relationship with them and their wedding itself. I think the first time I met with Briana and Andrew was in the spring, April or May. Andrew's mom had met our owner, Stephanie, at a business function, and she had just mentioned, hey, my son's getting married and they're looking at a bunch of venues and they, don't really know where to go from here. Stephanie said, hey, we have a coordinator. Why don't you just get them to contact her? And they did, and we met, and everything kind of clicked. And at the time, they were looking at two very different venues that had a lot of different amenities and kind of a different feel and flow to them. And so that was kind of my jumping off point, was helping them decide first which venue they were going to go with, and helped with budget and every bit of planning that had to follow in the next 6 months. And so, yeah, we pulled it off in 6 months, which was awesome. So they did get married at Stoneacre Farm in Puslinch. It's a private residence barn on the 13th of October. They did an outdoor ceremony. Their theme for their food was like a southern barbecue, and they did have one of our other partners, Nitro Music, doing DJ and live music. So just a couple shots from their venue. So we've got their head table, and of course linens and everything was provided by Awe Events as well. It's a nice big barn. So outdoor ceremony, a little bit chilly that day. But Briana was very thoughtful and got her guests some blankets and had those available for people. And the sun came out, of course, 2 minutes before Bri walked down the aisle. So it was gorgeous and beautiful. Food, of course, I have to take a minute to talk about food. So for their past hors d'oeuvres for cocktail hour, they did turkey sliders, bacon wrapped boar sausage, chipotle deviled eggs, and roasted root veg skewers with maple glaze. Highly recommend all 4 of those. They were delicious. Dinner was served buffet style, and it was a southern barbecue theme, like I mentioned before. So they had barbecue beef brisket, pulled pork with brioche buns, and caramelized onions and aged cheddar for people to top and kind of make a pulled pork sandwich with. Creamy mac and cheese, romaine salad, chickpea quinoa salad, and a carrot apple slaw. And then for dessert, they had ice cream sandwiches, which were made with our bakery fresh chocolate chip cookies, which were super good. I had 2. And then for late night, they had the mini gourmet grilled cheese station, which I think quite a few of you for this coming year have on your menus as well. So yeah, it was a big hit. I'm sure they'll tell you when they come up. For entertainment, like I said, they worked with our partners at Nitro Music. So for the ceremony, Neil took care of the music that they'd selected for processional, recessional. They had Jesse do some live music for their cocktail hour, which I don't know if you guys got to actually experience too much of that, but that was probably my favorite part. Jesse he's really, really good. Anyway, and really great music selection too. It was what they call cottage music. So it was like your Tragically Hip and just kind of your like easy listening, but like songs people know and really enjoyed. And then, yeah, Neil kept the dance floor full the whole night. This was a venue, because it was on a private residence, they had to shut down at 11 o'clock, DJ and bar. And I don't think anybody was too upset about that, because I feel like it was just 4 hours of like pure dancing, and everyone was having a blast and hanging off of their significant others. Yeah, so both with the hits and with guest requests as well. So that was super fun. And so yeah, I'm gonna ask Bri and Andrew to come up and speak to you so that it's not just me talking all night. Hi everyone, welcome and congratulations. Andrew, free. Beth did a great job of explaining kind of our wedding and the process. When we first started, we were definitely a little bit lost in everything, and we're like, how the heck do you plan a wedding? It sounds like a lot of work, and we're both kind of lazy in that department, I would say. So we kind of walked in. We talked to Beth. She gave the kind of the pros and cons of different venues for us. And then we were able to secure Stoneacre Farm, and she handled all of that for us, which was fantastic. And then, it was just, we pretty much signed the checks and signed the contracts. That's about it. Beth did everything else for us in terms of that.
Yeah, so we had like a general idea of what we sort of wanted, and we kind of were like, this is what we're thinking, and she was like, these are all my great suggestions. And we were like, let's do that, make it happen. And so she really kind of, would send us options in terms of kind of like the vendors and like the different kind of suppliers, and we would kind of be like, we'll take this one, and she would do it, and then we would send her money, and then it was great.
Yeah.
It was pretty stress-free. I don't know how you guys are feeling already, but it can be a little bit stressful.
A little overwhelming.
So it's nice to have someone to do all of the things for you.
That's essentially what it felt like for the most part. For me, anyways, I feel like a lot of the pressure always seems like it falls on the bride. Andrew did a great job, though. I won't lie there. Have to say that because we are still married. Yeah, it was actually really seamless. The times where it was really stressful for us, it was the rehearsal and our families. Sorry for any moms in the audience. My mom drove me nuts a little bit, but they checked in with me, which honestly was one of the most important things. Like, they saw the look on my face, and they told me, they're like, how are you doing? Are you okay? So that was kind of leading up to it. We always did the check-in. We did the monthly check-in. Beth would send us the list of everything we needed to accomplish. Whether or not we did it that month was a different story. Yeah, she's laughing because it's very. I think we picked our music 2 days before the wedding, I think. So I highly recommend not doing that and giving some people some advance notice. But leading up to it, for us, it was pretty stress-free. I think we were fairly easygoing with a lot of our wedding plan. We weren't like, it has to go this way, it has to go this way. So that's just kind of our style as well, which I think lent itself well to this kind of wedding. But
yeah, I think the final thing that was really nice for me was you go up to your wedding and everyone's like, make sure you enjoy the day and have a good time, and kind of, because like that is your special day. And I remember going through the day and at one point being like, oh, it'd be cool if this happened. I would be like, Beth, can you do this for me? And then it happened. So I didn't have to kind of worry or deal with kind of arranging something or making something happen on the day. I just got to enjoy it while someone else, again, took care of it for me.
The night before we had set up at the venue, we got to go there and put everything out for the most part. We ended up losing or misplacing 2 people's name cards, and we're like, well, guess they're not invited anymore. But no, so we had to actually go home, print new ones. So by the day of the wedding, Andrew brought them to the ceremony. We had done pictures. We were already there for a couple hours. I walked in, I was like, so those name tags, it's done. Right, and what about this? It's done. All the last minute decorations we had, it was all handled, and by the end of it, I was like, I'm just not gonna ask any questions because it's already been done. You'll see like all the succulents we put out, we couldn't leave them there overnight because they would have frozen. So that was one of the things we brought day of, and they had set everything up for us, and honestly, it was just kind of worry-free, stress-free, to make us actually enjoy the day. During our cocktail hour, I think it was either Erica or Beth came up to me and said, the food is sitting at your table, because a lot of times they find that, the bride and the groom, they're so busy mingling, they don't have time to actually eat the food they paid for, and it was delicious. Everything we had, it was just what we wanted, but we had a little tray with one of every single hors d'oeuvre, so we were able to sit down and kind of go back to our table, try it while mingling with everybody, so it worked out really well. So yeah, that was pretty much our experience. Every month we got the to-do list. At the end of it, Beth sent us a great coordination, kind of, here's the budget, did we stay on budget, did we go over budget here and there, but really tried to explain all of our options while we were deciding it. And at times we're like, yeah, we're okay to go a little over budget here because we saved here, and they were able to guide us through the whole process, and not making silly decisions like purchasing the same thing you've already bought before, just to make sure that you have it at the wedding. But I was gonna say about halfway through, Erica kind of stepped in and assisted Beth quite a bit. So friendly, smiling face that came up, and both of them were welcoming to our guests. We had so many compliments on our food, the venue, everything, and we owe a big thank you to Little Mushroom for all of that, because we're pretty great, but I don't know if we would have been able to pull that off ourselves. So I guess we can take some questions if anyone has any specific questions about the coordination, or we can try and answer them for you. I don't know.
Okay.
But I don't know, if you have questions, feel free to ask them.
I am going to talk about coordination a little bit for you guys. But if you have any specific questions for Briana and Andrew,
Sorry,
give her. No, you're good. I just don't.
Our show now.
I don't want Andrew
We're
to start
taking
answering questions he doesn't know the answer to.
The monthly checklist that they gave you, how many months ahead did they start giving you the checklist?
So what happened was when we first met, we did a whole overview of everything that needed to be done, and we walked through it so we could kind of scratch off some things that we didn't want for our wedding. So certain things, like doves released. That was one of
my
the things we
favorites.
laughed about. After we got married, we were not going to be releasing doves or butterflies into the air. That's just not who we are. So we were able to just kind of scratch that off. But at the end of the day, we kind of saw this is what's on board for this week. She would bold everything that we had to do. If there's any outstanding tasks from the previous month we had to do, but it would also kind of forecast in our meeting saying this month this is what needs to be done. And that doesn't go to say if you had an idea or something where you're like, oh my God, what about this? Don't worry, that's in a month or two, but if you want to work on it, by all means go ahead, and then we can check it off early. Those kinds of things. So really just fluid, and was able to work with what you wanted to work with at that time, but definitely set the schedules and checklists for you.
So to further answer that question, Lindsay, they booked us 6 months before their wedding. So we started right away. So with full coordination, again, depending on how involved the wedding is, it can be a year-long checklist, it can be a 9-month checklist, it can be a 6-month checklist. So for these guys, we
the 6-monther
started right away. But yeah, we can. It kind of depends on how intense the wedding planning is as well. So that can vary. Yeah.
Great question.
All right, cool. Thank you, you guys. I have a little present for you.
Thanks.
It's for you. Thanks.
you.
Thanks for coming to talk. I appreciate it.